friends, and welcome back today for a new makeup review. I have for you the new Huda Beauty Obsession matte palette. So she is launching two new matte palettes, and I am going to do looks with both of them in today's video. I'll also be showing you swatches of the palette, so if that sounds good, let's go ahead and get started. So let's first get into the details on these new mini palettes. So they are going to be launching on the 27th of February, so I did get them a little bit early. Thank you to Huda for sending these my way, and they are the 9-pan palettes. So these are actually both mattes, but they do have cream shades in them. So I look at both of them. We have a matte warm palette. So packaging on these is very cute. It has a raised look to it right here, and they are of course matte. And then on the inside, this is going to be your warm palette. So it does have the 9 shades with a mirror, which is her typical Obsession format. And then we do have in here 2 cream shades, which is new to her Obsession palettes. I don't think she's done this in those before. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she hasn't. But you do have a cream right here and also a cream right here in the palette. And then also in the second one, this one is going to be your cool tone palette. Again, same look to it. It has the raised matte right here, which I do think is a nice look to the packaging. And then you have the inside, which is the 9 pans. And then you also have 2 cream shades right here. I'm not really sure why she didn't like lay them out like the creams in the same spots in both palettes, because they are like in different spots, but nevertheless they're there. So let's do swatches of them now so you can see how they swatch. So let me first show you the cool palette swatches. So here is what that palette looks like. This one and this one here are going to be your creams in the palette. And as you can tell, this is a color story that Huda likes to do. She does these quite often, these more like romantic pinky palettes. So I do think if you have a lot of Huda palettes, this color story isn't something new to you. I think it's something she relatively does quite often. So I feel like these shades in this kind of look you can create with some of her other palettes. I know her newest one has a lot of similar shades. It's kind of like the Mercury Retrograde, I know has some pinks in it. And I'm thinking of the Rose palette that she came out with. And then let's swatch the warm palette so you can see what that one looks like. So swatches here, this second shade is a cream, and then this last shade here is also a cream. And this is a pretty, like I said, generic warm palette. It's not, you know, anything revolutionary with the color story. However, I am someone who likes matte looks. I use matte shadows a lot. And if you are like me and you're looking for a palette that kind of just has it all in there, then you would be a good buyer for this. I don't think these are like anything that you need to like run out and buy the second they release if you aren't a matte lover, because you know they do have a lot of mattes in them. But if you want something that's just easy to grab and easy to make a look with, you can tell I have a really pretty eye look on right now, and I really did like the matte look that I did with the warm palette as well. So I'm impressed with the quality. They seem pretty true to her regular matte quality, and I always love her formula. So I'm happy with these. I just don't know that everyone is going to be, you know, as excited for these, because they are not, you know, super exciting, but I do think they're still a good release to have and a staple that a lot of people might use in their collection if they want a smaller option when it comes to mattes. Alongside the palette, she is also launching 2 new eye kohls. We have a black and then also a brown. These will be launching at the same time as the palettes, and I did use the brown one in my look today. They are a creamy formula. Here are a quick swatch of those. You can use them as liner, use them in your waterline, or you can kind of smoke out a look with them, add anything to any look that you typically have. So just an eye kohl, I'll kind of show you guys the smudgeability of them there, so you can kind of see you can work with these a little bit more than a typical dry pencil formula. So after swatches and after talking a bit about the palette, I do want to show you how I got this eye look using both the cool tone palette, and then I'll show you the look that I did with the warm palette as well. So to start, I'm going to prep my eyes with this Kaleidos eye primer. I've been really liking this one. It's just called their Tone Activator. I like the color of it a lot because it reminds me, honestly, of just a concealer, but it's a little bit more thin and it feels a little bit more hydrating on the eyes than a concealer, and it does have that nice white-ish base, so that is going to make the colors really pop. So we're first going to go in with the warm palette, and I'm going to start with this color down here first and bring this into my crease. I'm just using a blending brush from MAC. This is obviously going to be a warm look. Ooh, this brush, oh my gosh. You see how much that's shedding? I feel like maybe I need to get rid of this brush. I've had it for a long time, but I don't typically have shedding with my MAC brushes, so maybe it means it's time for it to be done. But put that color in our crease first. That seems to be blending nicely. So next I'm going to go into the next deepest orange in the palette, and I'm going to just further deepen the crease, but really just focus this on the outer portion and then go in. That is definitely giving a lot of color payoff there. It looks nice and vibrant. I'm going to keep with that same brush, and we're going to deepen that up even more with this color right here. Just going to place that down here and start to bring it in to deepen that up just even further. I am impressed so far. It's looking good. Now let's bring in some of the brown. So I'm going to grab this shade right here. This does look like it almost has a little bit of texture to the pan. I'm noticing that in this pan as well, because I haven't touched these yet. See how these ones are like, this one here is like smooth. This one looks textured, so I'm not sure why. Oh, it's a cream. Oh my gosh, I haven't swatched these yet. So it's a cream shadow. I did not realize that. I was like, why does it look weird? It's a cream. Okay, I'm sorry guys. I did not know that. Is this one? Yes, this one is a cream as well. So they're both creams. I'm sure I will mention this in the beginning of the video, but as of right now, I'm like, what? Why do they look weird? Well, this makes sense. Okay, that's gonna change up how this works, obviously, because this one is a cream. So let's apply the cream to the outer portion. I'm going to use my hand for this, and we'll use that to deepen it up here, and then I'll place another matte on top of it. So I'll just bring that right in there. I don't know why, but I wasn't realizing that there was going to be creams in this. It kind of changes my thoughts on it. I don't think that a 9 pan needs 2 creams, like personally. I mean, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think about that, but I feel like I was definitely not expecting there to be 2 creams in such a small palette. So now that we've got that on, let's go into this color here, and I will just go ahead and place that right on top of the cream so that that kind of works as a base for that deeper matte, and then I'll start to kind of blend that out there. That definitely really vamped this look up with the cream first and then adding that other shade. So I'll add that deeper shade over here as well. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit of this color right here and just focus this on the outer portion just to blend it out a little bit further, since we got a little messy with the last color. I'm going to bring that on my lower lash line as well, just to kind of marry the two. All right, now I think I'm just going to try that other cream. Like, we might as well use that as a base. I'm just going to put some of the lighter matte just here on the inner corner. So just bring that. That actually is kind of nice to have that light of a shade right there as a cream. So I'm just going to tap that with my finger, just right in here. And then I'll just grab this shade with my finger as well. This is the lighter matte in the palette. And then just bring that over top. Wow, it's actually kind of turning orange when you mix it. Hold on, did I press? I'm wondering if I accidentally pressed my hand in another. No, it's kind of turning orange. That's so weird. So when you put this over top of this cream, it almost looks more orange than white. Like, look at it in the pan. Like, it looks like it's just going to be a plain, more like white color. But it's definitely got some like tan look to it. So that wasn't exactly what I was looking for when I put it on the inner corner. I was kind of hoping it would just be like a light base. It doesn't look bad. It actually looks pretty good. It just wasn't what I was expecting there. So I guess this whole palette is just the unexpected for me. This eye look looks so stunning though. I just think it has a lot of dimension to it, which is really fun. Let's use one of the eye koals now to try out. So let's use the brown one. We'll just use that in the waterline with this look. I am going to bring it down a little bit further as well, and then we'll go ahead and smudge that out so we can kind of see how they smudge. So we'll just bring that underneath, kind of just smoke that out a little. I just applied mascara, and I'm going to use a couple of these clusters here. These are just from Huda Beauty. I'm going to put a couple of these on just to add a little bit more of a dramatic look. So here is with the lashes. I ended up doing 2 clusters on each side. These are just her hoodie lashes. I'll link them down below as well. But here is our finished eye look with the Warm Mattes palette. I think it turned out really pretty. I like it a lot. I think it has a lot of dimension to it, like I was mentioning. And I do kind of like the inner corner. I wasn't expecting it to be as orange as it is, but I kind of think it really, really adds to the look of the eye in a complete look. I think if it was more white, it wouldn't look as like seamless as it does. So I do think it looks really pretty. I'm really happy with how this came out. Was surprised by those creams, but I think it looks good in general. So really happy with this. So now let's go ahead and try out the next palette. Let's get into our second palette here. So for this look, I'm going to go into this middle shade right here first, and we're going to use this in our crease. Bring that shade all over my lid and work that a little bit into my crease. I'm definitely most excited for this palette because these types of colors are right up my alley. So next I'm going to take the same brush. I'm going to go in with this shade right here and just deepen that up a little bit here through the crease. That's going to give us more of a defined look. On a smaller brush, I'm going to go into this shade right here and focus that just on the crease, and then we'll use one of those creams in a second. I just want to place this down first and start to bring that in a little bit. Okay, and then let's pull this shade right here, which is one of the creams, and let's just bring that on this outer portion here. Tap it right over top of that last shade that we applied, so we use it almost more as a base. I'm going to grab that a little on my finger because I think that'll work better there. So I'm just going to grab that and tap it right on top here. You honestly could just leave the cream on its own. I don't think you have to like keep layering it, but I obviously want to try like more colors in the palette. So I'm going to bring this deeper shade right on top there and place that on top of that cream that I just placed down. So I'm just going to tap that right on top there, and that's going to make it really stand out. That's looking really vampy and nice here now that we've started blending that out a little. I like that a lot. I'm going to do the same thing, of course, to the other side. Now for inner corner, I'm actually going to grab the other cream in the palette so we can try this one out, and I'm going to place that on the inner part of the eye. And just like the other shade, it has more of a lighter look than it does in the pan. It's actually really pretty. It's almost like a purple. That right there is so nice, but I do want to add another color on top just to try. So let's try this. I'm gonna get a new brush here. Let's try this corner right here just to fully try almost all of the shades. I think if I use that, I've used everything in this palette. So I'm just gonna tap that right over top. Yes. Ooh, pretty. I love purple eye looks, and this is so purple and like cool tone and pretty. Now for a lower lash line, let's actually grab this cream shade and we'll use that as more of like a liner down here, because I don't think I'm going to go in with one of the kohl liners because I'm not really wanting it to be that dark underneath here. And then I'm taking this lightest shade right here and I'm just bringing that a little bit closer here on my eye and bringing it almost up towards the brow bone just to further brighten the inner corner of the eye. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna leave this eye look. This eye keeps wanting to water over here, so I feel like I'm losing a little bit of the shadow down here, but I'm really impressed. I think this looks also very dimensional, very pretty. I like how this looks a lot. Just hoping my eye will just stop. I think it's because I already have removed my makeup once. It's like, why are you putting more on it? But yes, very pretty. Let's go ahead and add, I'm gonna add the same cluster of lashes. So I only used one cluster on the end there, but this turned out so pretty as well. Here is a look at the finished eye look. Let's zoom out and get into my final thoughts. So after applying both palettes, let's get into my thoughts. It's kind of hard to choose which one I like more. I feel like I really do like this cool tone look. This is something I can see myself wearing a lot. I love purples, and I feel like this looks very, very nice on the eyes, but I did enjoy the warm look a lot too. I think the creams were better than I thought. I thought initially when I saw the creams, I was like, ugh, like I don't really use creams a lot, so like I'm not gonna necessarily like these, but I do feel like they did add something extra to the look. I was able to get a lot of dimension with such a small palette with the creams. So I don't know that everyone's gonna love that option. I don't know that everyone's gonna want those creams, but in a 9-pan palette, I'm surprised to see 2. But I'm not mad at it. Like, I do really like both of these eye looks. I think they're nice, and I think I would continue to use the creams based upon the application that I did get from the shadows. So very curious to know your thoughts down below on these. Which one do you like better? Are you into either of them? Are you planning to grab them? I will of course have links to them as soon as they're available in the description box down below. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you very soon with a brand new video. Bye friends.